Andor Season 2. It is almost here. Are we going to see Darth Vader back in a Star Wars show? Once again, should we see Darth Vader again? That's something that we're going to look at. There's an article that just came out. Now, a lot of this has been happening online. This is coming from us from a dork side of the Force. We probably won't see Darth Vader in Andor Season 2, and they have a legitimate reason to say that. Now, if you guys caught it, just a few days ago, this image was shown all over the place, and people were speculating, is Deidre Miro's character being force choked in this scene by Darth Vader? That would totally make sense. It's the setting is right in the timeline. We know that Vader is definitely around. This movie is, on the cusp of A New Hope, releasing. Like it's going to end right as Rogue One begins, pretty much. So this post has been seen more than 300,000 times, liked 2,000 times, and reposted nearly 200 times. At the time of this writing, it does bring to mind the scene in Star Wars A New Hope where Vader punished Admiral Motti for his disturbing lack of faith. So people are saying, is this, an indication that Vader will be in it? Well, they go back, Nick, to an article, a quote from Tony Gilroy, the showrunner. And he's talking about using the same characters for every project. And he says here, the galaxy is enormous. It would be like if you tried to tell this whole story of the 20th century England just through the crown. Oh, there's only this royal family, these 7 people, their lineage, and that's all that matters. We will not be dealing with the royal family of Star Wars. When we have legacy characters return, or when we touch on things that are familiar, we don't want to do it in a way that would be perceived as fan service. We want it to be protein. I appreciate Tony Gilroy saying that. He's saying that the most important thing is the story and not fan service, not nostalgia bait, not member berries. But I got to tell you, Nick, if they were to bring in Darth Vader and do it the right way, it would just make the show better if they were actually able to pull that off. Do I trust them pulling that off? I don't know. I'm kind of mixed in my thoughts there. What's your take here about Darth Vader and his should he or should he not return in Andor Season 2?
Well, as most all I'm pretty much checked out of Disney Star Wars. I honestly don't care anything about Andor Season 2 or anything Disney Star Wars at this point. But we are going to be reviewing it and talking about it here on the channel. So just my thoughts on it is, Vader doesn't need to be in it. This is a story that they're trying to tell that's more on the rebellion forming and uprising against the Empire. Vader really doesn't need to be a part of it. We know he's around. Maybe he'll get a mention. Maybe he will get a short scene where he force chokes and kills the girl that was in the picture. I don't even remember her name. Deidre, yeah. So, but in my opinion, that would be fan service. But in another way, they have to kill her off. But she because she's not in Star Wars or Rogue One, so I'm guessing she probably dies.
Everybody's going to die.
Yeah, I'm guessing most people in the show that aren't in the Andor movie or the Andor movie, the Rogue One movie, are probably going to die in this series because we never see or hear from any of them ever again.
Sure.
With Mon Mothma, of course, being an exception, but Disney's going to reach into their nostalgia bag. So I could also see this possibly happening.
It would make the show more interesting for me.
But I think if he is in it, it's probably going to be a very small part.
I agree with that. If he's in it, it won't be for very much. He's certainly not going to be a pillar of the story. There's no way that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
And I don't think that he should. No. But he definitely could make the film better. Now, as a reviewer, I do hope Vader's in it because that'll give us something big to talk about, whether you love it or hate it. That'll at least be something. Does it mean anything that they've brought Luke Skywalker back to Galaxy's Edge. No, none of that means anything. And we know that they tried to move away from the legacy characters for the longest time. But you go back and watch Rogue One, I mean, Vader's inclusion in that movie certainly made the film better. That end scene with Vader, a lot of people criticize it. I think it is epic, like terribly horrific is what it is. Scary. And that was an awesome thing to see Vader do that at that moment as the plans escape, and it shows you, and it picks up right as A New Hope begins. Like, that's pretty dang awesome. Now, one thing that's kind of weird though there, Nick, is at the beginning of A New Hope, that's a much different Vader that walks on board.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He was not the same guy. He could have ran right through all those soldiers as well, but he didn't do that. So I don't know. Anyways, go ahead. What are your final thoughts with Vader and his possible return in Andor Season 2?
Yeah, so like you, I am a sucker for nostalgia, but only if it's done right.
A lot of old Star Wars fans are.
Yeah. So like that last part of Rogue One, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad they put the original actors from A New Hope.
Definitely.
Gold Leader and Red Leader and all them in there.
Yes.
Some familiar faces. It made sense to the story.
It did.
That they were there. So I really enjoyed that. And then of course seeing Vader at the end, who doesn't like Vader? So anytime we get him, not anytime, but if he's done right, it's good to see Vader on screen again.
Sure.
Seeing Vader in the Kenobi series, but
let's watch Vader lose again.
Yeah, exactly. But I like what they did in Rogue One with that scene, because I'm what can I say? I'm a sucker for that stuff. Whether it's bad, good, whatever.
Right.
That's all debatable, but I liked it. As far as him being in Andor, I think it's probably unlikely we see him, but I also think that there's definitely a possibility of him showing up in a very small part in the show.
All right. Well, guys, let us know in the comments what you think. As we always say here, we are your Echo Base Network. I'm Coach. He's Nick. See you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.